The Podcasting Dead is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Make sure to subscribe for more podcasts. And while you're at it, drop us a like. If you want to help support the channel and have access to extra content, secret contests, and more, make sure to search for us on Patreon. Patreon.com/ThePodcastingDead.
All right, time to discuss The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 10, The Stalker. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're The Podcasting Dead. If you're new to this channel, before we begin, consider hitting that subscribe button. Give us a like, helps us out a ton. All that stuff that the announcer said before we came on. We discussed The Walking Dead, conspiracy, supernatural, a little bit of everything. So we would love to have you as a regular. And, of course, don't forget to check out our Patreon. More details on that at the end of the podcast. But as for right now, JP, after talking with you before the podcast, I think it's safe to say that you and I both found this to be an awesome episode.
Oh, yeah, dude. Not much I can complain about. Last week's, I had a few qualms, but this one, man, just balls to the wall. And not Negan's balls to the wall, which was all right,
Not
that he didn't have a great body, but, geez, I don't want to see Alpha naked ever again.
Well, and this one definitely to me would have been, I almost feel like these two should have been reversed somehow. Like, this should have been the premiere, which would have gotten you like, oh, my God, that was a great episode. And then the next one, I feel like you'd be looking at the premiere a little differently if it wasn't the premiere.
Right.
And not that, and again, to go back, if you didn't listen to last week's or you're new to the channel, we liked last week's. We I don't know, maybe we were expecting more from a premiere, but nonetheless, we thought it was a good episode. But this episode was freaking awesome. It was so tense and so, like, I love the kind of horror movie vibe that they're kind of going with on some of these episodes. It's like I was talking to a listener and good friend last night, and he was saying it had a very Halloween feel to it.
Dude, Beta's like straight up in Michael Myers territory now,
right?
And maybe Michael Myers did so well all those years because he too had a bulletproof vest. Maybe.
Yeah, that was probably I don't know. I didn't want him to die in that way because I still want our Negan Beta brawl. I still want. I still want some things to happen with Beta. I wasn't ready to see him taken out, but when he pulled out the bulletproof vest or pulled his shirt back and revealed it, I was kind of like, man.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense if you were going deep infiltrator
right.
duty, you'd suit up. So
yeah, I mean, hopefully they hadn't made it this far by being stupid.
Yeah, it still knocked him on his ass, man. Whew.
I mean, imagine. Well, and we saw that kid get it, too, the one that had kind of jumped Lydia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talking all that shit. Then here comes Big Papa Beta to rip your throat out.
Oh, dude, just threw her around like a rag doll.
So, all right, now my question is Laura dead? The barcode girl in the jail cell.
I was kind of curious about that myself.
Because I didn't watch. Somebody let us know that. I know that it's like, well, you have the channel, shouldn't you know? Sorry. But I can't stay up until, freaking, 11 o'clock to watch The Talking Dead because I have to get up and go to work the next day. But, I mean, he slammed her pretty hard into the cell. And I don't know. I don't know. They didn't have her on the Walking Dead. I know she's not a main character per se, but, I mean, she's definitely been front. We've dealt with her quite a bit. So I feel like she would definitely deserve at least a spot on the couch if she died.
Yeah, man. I don't know that she's dead. She definitely should have just javelined him right in the throat.
I told my girlfriend had a good point, though. My girlfriend had a good point. She probably, she's a beast. I mean, she ran with the saviors. I mean, she does. She don't take no shit. The thing is that she probably was thinking about what Gabriel said.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel's, and I didn't think about that. So kudos to my girlfriend for it. She said, I was like, you had the blade to his throat. Why would you be like, get help? I'd have been like, chink.
Right.
You're dead, you whisper a bitch.
I mean, I get you need to pump them for intel, but man, that's not one to play around with.
You're right, especially one that you're holding a spike and you're like at the end of the stick to get it up to his neck, and you're real slim, he's real thick. Just put a knife in his throat.
Yeah.
But I mean, my girlfriend had been like, I think, her own view. She's like, I think that she was thinking about what Father Gabriel said and was more concerned with keeping him alive, like you said, for intel, whereas. And then we got to see Rosita versus Beta, the fight that if you would have told me, I wouldn't have believed it. If somebody was like, yeah, you're going to see Beta and Rosita go at it. what? She's such a boss, man. Like they really, I really hope they're not bringing her around just to kill her. And I mean, they might be. And I will say they've done her some justice. She's been a really, really good character this season. I mean, she's always good, but we're just getting to see the extent of her badassness.
Yeah, dude. I'm like you. I hope they're not just giving her one last big hurrah, Let's keep her around. But yeah, man, just going toe to toe with Beta,
Yeah, well, it's like, and I'm glad it was realistic. I mean, Rosita's a little thing, and Beta's huge. So I mean, it's like she was fending him off pretty well, but I mean, ultimately he was getting, the upper hand. Because I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, look, man. I mean, if we're getting down to the nitty gritty, it's not the size of the fight and the dog in the fight. It's the fight and the dog. That's very true. Coming from somebody who's done a little bit of kickboxing and some competitive with it. I know that's true, but I can tell you that you're never going to see a Chihuahua actually whoop a Rottweiler. You know what I mean?
No.
They might bark and run you got your instances where they'll run them off, but if they were actually both fighting, like going at it, Rottweiler's going to tear that Chihuahua to pieces.
Yeah, man.
So it's like, I'm glad it wasn't like Rosita just came in and manhandled this gigantic man, it was good, man. I love that she definitely showed she ain't nobody to toy with, but at the end of the day, it showed how powerful Beta is.
Oh, yeah, dude. He really shined this episode. Alpha, man, she had some awesome stuff.
Gamma, don't take it away from Gamma,
too,
man.
Yeah.
Thora Birch, I believe is her name. She's really coming through as an actress because she was a little girl on Hocus Pocus, and now she's all grown up and she's Gamma on The Walking Dead. She's good, man. Like her acting chops this episode really just came through. I mean, despite some of its shortcomings, the one thing The Walking Dead doesn't, do often is have terrible actors. Not saying some aren't worse than others, but I mean, they do have some fine actors on this show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Gamma really had some powerful moments there.
What did you think when Lydia showed up with Alpha? I thought that was, I knew it was going to be a dream at first. Like, I'm like, there's no way. But, I love the moment when she's like, I'm not here for you.
Yeah.
I'm here for Daryl.
Yeah, dude, just getting there in the nick of time. I guess she's kind of been, just waiting in the wings, kind of following what everybody's doing.
So I love that Daryl fusses at Carol for, charging after Alpha and doing reckless shit, but then decides, I'm going to fight all the Whisperers by myself.
Yeah, man, he went at him. He just about got in that cave hole, but not
he did.
quite.
He did. Man, that was tense, man, when he had the blood running down and those point of view shots. And, I really didn't. It took me a second. When he stabbed Alpha with that stick, I just thought he had got another Whisperer. And then when I realized it was Alpha, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And then, I love how they messed each other up, man.
Oh, dude, it was crazy, man. They just, that was a bloody battle.
Well, you remember Alpha told Beta when they met, and she's not lying when she said, I'm going to warn you, I don't die easy.
Yeah.
She don't. She's tough.
Whew,
she's almost on another plane of existence by the end of this episode. She's speaking even more kind of just out there. My body returns, blah, blah, blah. I had to actually consult with our listener and good friend of the podcast, Derek Patterson, because I'm like, all right, so what exactly is... I get it, right? She's taking the horde. She's straight up declaring war now.
Yeah.
That's what's at. It's no longer this nitpicking and kind of getting them where they can. No, it's just straight up, let's destroy them. But like the way she was talking, I didn't know if they were getting ready to kill her and let her kind of be like the lead walker. You know what I mean? She was just speaking so out there. I was like, what is she doing? It's dispels too. Actually, this episode dispels a lot of what we thought, because in the trailer we saw the bloodied up Alpha, blood all over her face and neck, and thought that must be
right.
And I got to forewarn you, if you made it this far, you haven't gotten any comic spoilers, but we are going to head into spoiler territory for the comics. So if you're one of those that you want to read the comics, or but you haven't gotten this far, you really might want to just come back at some point, maybe give it a few minutes and come back. Or really, as much as that pains me to say, you might just want to skip the rest of this podcast, because we're going to be coming in and out with it quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you've been warned. Here we go. Spoilers. We're opening that door. So, because a lot of people thought that's where Negan was going to behead her. A lot of people thought that was kind of her, like, dying, because she looks, even in the trailer, kind of like that blissful, like almost dying, like accepting your fate kind of thing. Like she's going to look up to the sky and whatever. But it turns out that's not it. That's just from where her and Daryl muffed each other up.
Yeah, they got to scrapping good, man. Daryl got that darn knife in the femur. Jeez.
I mean, I like the way they did that too, because that is one thing, some people, and in the modern age, I think we most of us know, but some still don't, that when you get stabbed, all medical advice suggests you leave that knife in the wound until you're able to get somewhere to be treated, because and the episode really showed that. As soon as he pulled that knife out, man.
Just a gusher of blood, man. Ooh.
I feel like with that much blood gushing, he probably would have been dead by the end of this episode, though.
He definitely wasn't far from it, but, luckily Lydia got him under a tree, and I'm sure,
treated the wounds.
Yeah, treated the wounds.
How long have I been asleep? I really was getting irritated. Like, if you've listened to this podcast for a long time, you know the roller coaster that Daryl Dixon and I have been through. I like Daryl, and then I couldn't stand Daryl, and then I kind of liked Daryl, and then back to I can't stand Daryl. But I think I've said pretty consistently from Rick's departure on, I've really liked Daryl. I mean, without Rick there, he really is kind of coming to his own. And, Andrew Lincoln leaving has really opened it up for a lot of different characters to kind of get more screen time and for us to grow and to like them even more. And for me, Daryl's one of them. I always liked Daryl, but then he got to a point where all he did was grunt and disobey Rick. Rick be like, we're going to do it this way. That's stupid, Rick. But, so now we've really got but I was like, dude, I like Daryl, but if he gets the alpha kill, I'm going to be so pissed, man, because we know who gets that kill.
Yeah, man, Negan's got to take her head. It's got to happen.
That's like the Glenn death. Like Stephen Yin said, that's just one of those, it's so iconic, you can't change it. I'm cool with them doing different things from the comic. But Negan, because I'm waiting for Negan to show me that he's not fully invested into this yet. Right. From the outside looking in, it looks like TV Negan is all about that Whisperer life now.
Yeah, so it seems. But I think he's still just playing it, playing the long game.
Yeah, he's just scheming. He's figuring it out.
That'd be a wild left turn, man, if he kills Alpha just to take over the Whisperers and, reinstate his regime. Who knows?
I mean, we get so many great moments from the comic that I hope we get in the show, man. Remember the Rick when the Whisperers are overwhelming Alexandria and Negan and Rick are having that little chat or whatever, or Negan gets a chat with some of the former saviors and he's like, "What do you say we bring back the saviors? Kneel now if you'll follow me." And one person kneels and Negan I don't know if he slaps him or whatever. He's like, Are you freaking stupid? Do you remember the shit that I put you guys through?
Yeah.
Just so many great moments for Negan that I hope we get in the show.
I hope so, man.
And I wonder who's going to replace, because the whole Negan and Rick conversations during the Whisperer War were some of the best Negan ever written, I think. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if that'll be between Negan and Daryl, perhaps, or we know it probably won't be between Negan and Michonne. Maybe, but I doubt it.
And he's already had his Maggie moment, so it wouldn't be with her.
Yeah, they did that a lot sooner in the show than they do on the comics. Really that comes, quite a bit further down the road.
Yeah, that was the last time we saw Negan outside of the last issue.
It was.
Yeah.
He wandered off, and that was it.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes. What are you thinking about Magna and Connie? Do you think they're still alive under there?
Yeah, they're gonna revisit that, I guess.
Which one do you think? Do you think either will make it out? One, if so, who, or both? What are you thinking? How do you see this playing out?
I think they'll both make it out.
You think so?
I don't think they're gonna kill either one of them.
Do you think if Connie makes it out, we're gonna see Daryl's first on-screen kiss? That maybe, Connie's gonna come out and he's gonna be so overjoyed that he's just gonna kiss her?
It could happen. You could see there's some Daryl butt. Who knows what's gonna happen? I don't know.
Connie, yeah. I love you, Connie.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I think the big death this season is definitely going to be an OG character. I mean, I guess Carol would be the safe bet.
So you think Carol will be gone this season?
Like I said, I think that's the safe bet. I don't know for sure that she is, but Gabriel, I think we've all pretty much kind of come to the resolution that he's probably not going to make it out.
Yeah, I think Gabriel's just getting a little bloodthirsty right now.
Yeah, that he's not playing around, man. You start talking about pulling teeth and cutting fingers off. I was just like, goddamn.
Oh
Gabriel.
Yeah, I mean he's
So much for
we've
turning
seen
the other cheek, my man.
we've really seen quite a turnaround in Gabriel. I mean, imagine season 5 Gabriel, or season 5, season 6 Gabriel. The one season 5 where he told Deanna not to let them in, and then early season 6 he was kind of a bitch trying to earn Rick's respect back, and now he's a straight up savage. I think Rick Grimes would be proud.
Yeah, man, he definitely ain't the little bitch he was a few seasons ago. That's
You
for
are
sure.
no longer a bitch, Father Gabriel. I love. He's like, I'm a child of God.
Yeah.
I don't wear this for show. I'm a child of God, but I do like because he makes a good point. I mean, he's like, I've seen a lot of confessions, and I know when someone's holding something back. I'm really digging this change in Gabriel. This just growing badassness within him. I mean, he's already kind of been a badass up to this point, but I mean, we're really seeing the extent of it.
Have they ever revealed like what denomination he's like ordained in?
Like, you mean like Southern Baptist or Methodist or
Yeah,
something like
'cause,
that?
I mean,
I always just thought it was kind of like a Baptist type thing.
Well,
but I
if
could be
he's
wrong.
father, I mean, that's generally like a Catholic priest. I don't know what other churches,
That's true, and takes confessions.
Yeah, that's another Catholic thing.
Do Catholic churches really look like his church though? Like out just in the middle of the woods? Don't they usually have like nice?
Yeah, maybe Anglican, maybe. I don't know.
They just kind of mixed a bag of religious.
Because for one thing, priests aren't. He definitely wouldn't be able to slam a Rosita. Get that Rosita butt and all that. So I don't know.
So I guess they're back together.
Looks like it. He's definitely.
really thought we were gonna-
smooching and kissing.
I thought we were gonna see. We still know we're gonna see. I mean, unless it's a dream or something, we're gonna see Rosita and Eugene have some kind of effect. Well, I mean, I think Father Gabriel's gonna die. And forgive me if I sound really nasally. I apologize. I'm still getting over being sick last week. It's still
That
rough.
crud will stick with you, man.
That's why we didn't have another Wednesday cast and only one Patreon cast, because
Yeah.
I just don't. It's some congestion going on. But what did you think about Rosita's dream? Like, we see she's kind of having some PTSD in a way from her experience.
I forgot about that. Yeah, man.
Did you think it was legit at first?
At first, I thought she was gonna have to like pop a shot off of that whisper, but then I was like, oh no, he's
Especially when he stabbed the baby. I was like,
this
there's
is not
no-
happening.
He's not going to stab the
And
baby.
if it is, kudos, they're definitely getting bold now.
I wish they would get bold, though. I mean, I'm not saying I want to see them stab babies, but
Right.
at the end of the day, something like that would have been controversial. People would
would
have
have been.
talked about it. Just brought the whisperers down to a new low. But alas, but then again, I'm not advocating for Coco to die.
No, nobody wants to see that.
But I felt like we got back to form last night. I love when Beta goes in and kills all those people. Then he just kind of like meditates in the middle, waiting for them to rise, which is kind of convenient with the plot because we remember in the beginning we were told that it could take anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours to 12 hours for someone to turn, and he cuts them all up, and then within like a minute, all of them at the same time start to rise.
Well, he knows exactly where that sweet spot is to get them up and on their feet quick.
Very convenient for the sake of the plot. But with that said, I can look past that because it was pretty badass for them to all start rising up, and he's just in the middle, kind of like the god of the walkers.
I know, it's almost like he's got telepathic abilities or something.
Yeah.
Maybe he does. Who knows?
I'm glad we're getting more time with Beta, man. He's just I really feel like we've only really seen him, other than the Daryl fight, we've gotten him a little bit with Alpha, but I'm glad to, because I mean, Beta's like we said earlier, like Derek Patterson said, he's on the level of like Michael Myers horror movie killer. So let's use him in that capacity. We need to be terrified of Beta.
Yeah.
I love the camper thing they had.
Oh yeah.
The camper over the hole. That was smart. That was really smart
Yeah,
because you
man,
definitely wouldn't expect there to be anything dug out under a camper.
Yeah, man. So how far did that tunnel like extend? Did he? I mean,
Looked like it went from wherever that camper was all the way to Alexandria.
all the way to Alexandria. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I couldn't remember exactly, but yeah, They're doing like some cartel digging, man. They're. Whew.
I love how dramatic he was coming up out the ground too. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? And I mean, it's TV, so of course they have to, whatever. But it's just like, ah.
Yeah.
I just imagine somebody's there. I mean, and that's bold too. That's a graveyard. I mean, I don't know if they had somebody spying to tell him if he was all clear or not. But what if somebody was like at the grave over, paying respects to like their dead mom, and it's like,
Right.
oh my God,
Yeah.
Grandma.
Jeez, dude. What if it had been like Carl's grave? That would.
Dude,
jeez.
oh man, I wonder. Like, did he like dig out the grave? And I had so many questions, but super rad when it came time for presentation.
Yeah.
To see him coming up through the grave, and then I almost would love to get a still image of that, of him like in the shadows walking through Alexandria, and he pulls the two blades out.
Yeah.
That was freaking awesome, and we got to see little Judith doing her thing. I think if I were a prisoner at Alexandria, I'd be terrified of Judith. You're sitting there in this dark, dreary cell, and you just hear little girls like, "What's your name?"
Yeah, man, a little creepy. A little, the creep factor was there for sure.
I mean, but I'm glad we got back to Judith. See what she's being a little badass. Freaking took that 357, which I swear, if it's a Colt Python, it's a 357. If it's a Colt Anaconda, it's a 44 Magnum. And I swear they've been back and forth. Like in the first couple of episodes, Shane, calls it a Python and gives him 357 rounds. But then I think when he was talking to Gareth, Rick kind of reasserted that it was a 44 Magnum. So if it was a 44 Magnum, it definitely would have had some oomph behind it. 357 Magnum does too, but 44 Mag, man, that's coming out of a handgun. That's a pretty stout round. Mm-hmm. But of course, it was a little dramatic with he's a big dude, man. But, but we got to see Judith being a badass. I knew she was up to something too. I knew she hadn't just like escaped or was hiding. I just expected him to walk across the door and she was going to be like, shing. Mm-hmm. I really thought we were going to see her sword fight him. Like, that's what I thought was going to happen. Dude, she was going to like slice his ankle and he was going to kind of be wounded so it would make it a little more even. And he was going to have his two blades and she was like, ching, ching, ching. And
and he's not above killing a child. He would do it.
Oh, absolutely.
He would do it, man. Because, I mean, if they'll lay a baby in a field to get eaten, they don't care.
Oh, man. Beta is very much like Mr. X or Nemesis from the Walking Dead universe. Like, when he's got an objective, that's it.
Yeah.
Anything that gets between him and his objective is going to die. And that's just it. He's going to, if he has to kill a kid to get Gamma and take her back to he'll do whatever to please Alpha.
Kill you like a wild laminal. He'll do it.
A wild laminal.
Beta he's a force to be reckoned with. He's a big old boy.
Indeed, he is, and I think Ryan Hurst plays him super well. I think he does a really good job. I just, I'm wondering how much longer this whole Whisperer. It's like my girlfriend asked me last night. She said, "How much longer do you think they're going to do the Whisperer arc?" I said, "I don't know, because unlike the Negan thing, I'm not bored."
Right.
With All Out War, that was everyone's most common complaint, is it was just they drug this thing out. And when the Whisperer, thing has been going on for about a full season now? Or was it season 9's finale when Jesus died? Is that what it was?
I think
or was it the mid-season?
I think it was the finale.
It might have been the mid-season
I don't
finale where he died, actually. I think it was. So I think we've got like a total of now about a full season's worth of the Whisperers.
Mm-hmm.
However you judge that. When they come in at mid-season, it gets a little difficult to kind of gauge. But they've been on for a little while now, but I don't feel bored of them.
Yeah, I've been reading that it'll be resolved by the end of the season. I don't know, how reliable that is, but
the only thing I'm not looking forward to is I love Michonne. Let me preface that. If you're new to the channel, if you go back, you can find for many years, JP and I have said Michonne's in our top. She's at one point, I believe she was like our second favorite character beside Rick. But what I'm not looking forward to is we're getting all this Whisperer excitement, and then I feel like we're just going to go to a very slow episode with Michonne. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not that I don't want to catch up with Michonne, and not that Denai Guerrero is not interesting on her own, but we even sometimes with Rick, like we've learned that in the past these little one-off episodes or these single character focused episodes just are not received that well. Versus when you're able to tell several different stories at one time in an episode, kind of going between stories. Like, that's the way to go. Kind of back and forth between the whole Daryl and Alpha thing, and then back to Alexandria, and then back to what the Whisperers, So I hope I'm worried that we're going to get the excitement ramped up, and then they're just going to slow it down with like a Michonne solo episode where the whole thing is her and this dude. And I could be wrong. It could be an awesome episode. I just hope they do it right. They've got a bad habit of doing that, getting you all excited and right. It's almost like being teased, like right there. It's so awesome. And then, never mind.
Then you've got two episodes following the governor and his new surrogate family.
Right. Yeah, that's a great example. That's one of the first times I can remember, if I'm trying to think of it, where we really had that, where you have, everything's building up and, oh, my God, there he is. He's got blood up. What's he going to do? And then, oh, wait, now we're spending an hour with the governor in this very slow progressing introduction of his new family. And then, the next episode, yay, we get to see. So, yeah, I feel that really is kind of where it started, I feel.
Yeah.
I have to think, but I feel like that's the first time I remember there being like a...
It was definitely one of the early examples.
Yeah, it's a good example, too. Kudos for bringing that up.
Yeah, but yeah, man, hopefully they keep the pace up. And like I said, if the rest of the season rolls like this, dude, you won't hear a complaint out of me.
No.
That much I can tell you.
No, I wonder where Carol, was, because we saw Aaron came back, right? Aaron made it back.
Yeah.
Carol wasn't with him, right?
I don't think so, man. I think she went back to the kingdom, and she's just kind of moping, She's at the derelict, abandoned kingdom, and she's just moping. That's it.
You know what she needs. She probably went to the Barn of Pleasures.
I would hope so. That would certainly lift her spirits.
Ezekiel was just there waiting for her, like, Carol, so what? You got people trapped. Take off those clothes, baby, and welcome to the Barn of Pleasures.
Put that stick of dynamite up my ass.
What was... Don't light it. Yeah. What was that episode? It was an episode of the Orville. Well, I feel like you had mentioned where it was like the cave of pleasures or something they had. The Cove of Pleasures. Yeah. I think you had mentioned on the podcast that you had heard that, and you were like, it almost feels like something, But yeah, join us in the Cove of Pleasures. Yeah. It's like I swear I hadn't seen the Orville before we made that up. But yeah, I don't know what Carol's doing, man. I don't know if she's back. I feel like I don't know if she's back though. Carol's stubborn, man. She might be in the woods plotting on something.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think she's kind of like taking a little trip down memory lane, trying to get her head together, but in actuality, only making it worse, so to speak.
At any point, did you think Daryl was a goner?
No, I didn't think he was going to die this episode, but he's definitely in bad shape. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting a big death, but, we still got some really good action, some close calls. Kept me on my toes, on my tippy toes.
It was good. I was very entertained the whole episode, and definitely another one where you kind of, I don't want to necessarily, I guess you could say another edge of your seat episode, because I was on the edge of my seat with last week's, and this one, there were several moments between the walkers rolling in and the beta going through Alexandria that I was a little nervous. Let us know about Laura, man. That's the one I'm really concerned about. Like, I'm wondering, is she dead or not?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause like I said, man, he slammed her into them bars. I mean, she just dropped, I assume she was dead, but she definitely might not be. He might have just knocked her out.
Yeah, man. I would have went for, his Achilles tendon,
I would have just, you had the spear
but
up
then he
against
might be wearing
his throat.
combat boots.
Yeah, you had the spear against the bare skin of his throat. I just would have slid it in.
Turned him into a Pez dispenser.
Absolutely, man. And the thing is, too, you got to look at this big guy and be like, holy schnit, this is one of Alpha's tanks. For, interrogation or not, I'm just going to take his ass out.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's like, their nuclear, well, I guess the Horde is their nuclear option, but even still, you don't leave a threat like that on the table.
No, like I said, it's just like letting tanks roll into your territory and going, I'm more worried about the nuke they're going to launch. I'm not worried about the tanks. No, you take them out too.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was done with Beta. And if Gabriel would have been mad that I didn't leave him alive to question, I'd be like, did you see me? And do you see him?
Right.
This dude's like 6'4" or 5. I'm 120 pounds, which not me, Laura. Yeah. I'm talking from her perspective. She's probably like 120.
Yeah.
Not a very big girl at all. I'd been like, could you see me? Like, I'm a little girl. I'm like 120 pounds. This dude.
Yeah, forget about that.
Probably takes craps bigger than I am.
Probably does, man.
You should have kept him alive, Gabriel.
Yeah.
I'm out this bitch.
It's Probably why the shit pit in the woods that Negan got pushed into was so big, you know?
That's just all it is.
Just for Beta.
Oh, big man, big turds.
Yeah.
But yeah, a solid episode. Solid episode.
Dude, like I said, no complaints here.
Well, I guess, excuse me for yelling.
No worries. I'm a little sweepy too.
I just woke up this morning and was super tired. Stayed up to watch that show that came on after The Walking Dead, the Jason Segel show.
Yeah, I'm going to revisit that, man. I started it, but I was just like, I'm a little too sleepy, and this is going to be a deep one, so I watched Deep Space Nine instead.
I like Jason Segel a lot, but so I kind of wanted to see it. And I dig it. I want to rewatch it, though. I was already a little tired by the end of The Walking Dead, so by the time that got to go in full swing, I'm nodding off. But it was good.
Right.
But for some reason, I just woke up tired this morning, man. I guess it's just Monday.
Yeah.
But as we wrap up the podcast, let's give this bad boy a rating.
Let's do it.
All right, put your hands under the... Well, you're not at the table, but where I can't see it.
They're in my pocket. So
you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Nice.
What is that?
That's a 4.5.
Okay.
I usually use my thumb to kind of jut out to signify 4.
Yeah, I give it a solid 4, and I'm darn close to giving it like a 4.5. But yeah, I'll stick on 4. It was really good, man. I can't think of anything I didn't like.
Great episode. Sorry, I keep yawning so much. I apologize. I've been coughing, yawning. I've been meaning to hit the cough button on the board here, and I just don't have time because the coughs just escape and the yawns come out of nowhere. But solid episode 4.5, man. This is The Walking Dead I want to see. Suspenseful, leaves you guessing. Mm-hmm. There's some action. There was so many great acting.
Oh yeah,
great performances from the actors and actresses of this episode. So this is, writers of The Walking Dead, this is what we need to see. Just continue to give us episodes like this that keep us on the edge of our seats, that are tense, they're fresh. Oh, man, it was great. I did not see, Daryl and Alpha just about killing each other when I started the episode.
I know it, dude.
So it was a great episode. So 4.5 for me, 4 out of JP. And, anything else you want to leave them with before we wrap this one up?
Just a smile and a handshake, and that's it.
We look forward to discussing this season, and it's almost time for a giveaway, JP. We've got a box full of Walking Dead stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna be having both giveaways on the channel here, and then, of course, some Patreon exclusive giveaways. So check that out. Again, remember, for as little as $1 a month, you can help support the channel and get extra podcast, extra content behind the scenes, etc. And as far as for those asking where we're going to live stream, JP finally got his MacBook fixed.
I did.
And so we got to figure out and help us out with this, man. I mean, can you do a YouTube live stream and have someone join you? Because the problem is JP lives a good little drive away from me. It's not terribly far, but then again, it's further than you want to be driving at 11, 12 o'clock at night when you got to get up at 5 the next morning.
Yeah.
So it would be super convenient for both of us. And he's going to continue to come over for premieres and finales and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it would be super convenient for both of us if we could remote. If we could join in. We both have good quality mics, MacBooks, so we could definitely give you a good podcast. We just got to figure out how to do it. And we're scared that if we try to go to the Google Hangouts, half of you won't know how to get there.
Yeah, there's always that worry.
Maybe we could post a link on our YouTube and be but I mean, it'd just be so much easier if it was able. So help us out. If you know anything about the YouTube live stream, give us some feedback. We would love to hear. Oh yeah, you could do a a remote 2-person live thing on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But once we get that figured out, we will absolutely be streaming after each episode.
Yeah.
Because a lot of you seem to really enjoy that. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
We want to give you what you enjoy.
Yep, that's always the plan.
JP, give us a little tease, man. What are some of the things we have to give away coming up? You don't have to name them all, but just give us a few little things.
What do we have? We've got some miniatures of assorted Walking Dead characters. We've got the most forgettable action figure of the most forgettable villain in the whole series.
Is that, we don't want to tell, or are you keeping that from telling? Or
that's up to you, man. But we've also got some kind of Walking Dead board game or card game or something like that. That's pretty cool. It's some nice little things.
Yeah, we're excited to give them to you. So We'll catch you. We'll catch you on Patreon tomorrow for our Patreon exclusive podcast, and then we will catch you for one Wednesday right back here for Weird Wednesday.
Talking about something Wednesday for sure.
Yeah. So we'll catch you soon. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.